Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. This is NGS and welcome back to the next installment in the Road to E3 2015. So in the last episode, which a lot of you guys really enjoyed, thank you so much for watching that one. I talked a lot about Square Enix and what I expect from that third-party publisher and what they're probably going to announce at this year's trade show. But for this one in particular, a lot of you guys wanted me to talk about the main big three console manufacturers, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, so I decided to do that. For the first part in this episode, I'm going to be discussing Microsoft and what I expect they're going to discuss at this year's E3. So Microsoft has really had a love-hate relationship with gamers for the past, well, I can say 5 years or so. Ever since they introduced the Kinect, they've pretty much been on a slow downward slope when it came to the approval of gamers. And with the introduction of the Xbox One and the entire DRM debacle around that, it has not been pretty good for them. But with the introduction of Phil Spencer and the removal of Don Mattrick, I think things have gotten a little bit better for the Xbox brand, a brand that was really damaged from all the things that happened in 2013. And Phil Spencer as a whole, I think, has done a lot to generate goodwill for that brand and a lot of people's perceptions behind it. So as far as that is concerned, I think that he's doing a good job as far as trying to get as many Xbox Ones into the households as soon as he can, so that's good on his front. I don't own an Xbox One yet, so I'm not going to say that, you know, all the things that Microsoft are going to announce are going to be great, and I hope they're great in anything. I'm just looking at it as a person who owned an Xbox original. I can't even say Xbox One at this point because, well, yeah. Owned an Xbox 360 and wants to own an Xbox One at some point in the future. So let's dissect what is probably going to happen by looking at the past. In the original 2013 Xbox One unveiling, you definitely saw the influence of prior Xbox branding. You definitely saw they focused on TV, sports, Kinect, Call of Duty, you know, all the things that Microsoft, I guess, because it's no shock to anybody that the Xbox 360 pretty much had a good control of last generation. Microsoft was, for the most part, in the lead when it came to gamers, and even though the Wii was #1 in sales, the Wii was not #1 in gamers' eyes. You saw how a lot of people pretty much just defaulted to the Xbox 360 for the games they wanted to play. And since Microsoft had the gaming crowd, they really didn't see the need to continue to focus on that. So they decided to focus on the next market, which, if it wasn't casuals, it was the TV crowd, people who wanted to have just one set-top box for everything. And that's what they were trying to make the Xbox 360, and that's what they were trying to make the Xbox One. They wanted to focus on you having this system and having it be your cable box and your Netflix device and your Hulu machine. That's what they were focusing on. And it's definitely evident in their conference, which is why a lot of people saw that and they were just like, man, where the heck are the games? But, you know, since that date and following that conference into E3 2014, Microsoft has focused a lot more on games, which is definitely good. Something I like to see. But my biggest problem with Microsoft is that while they're focusing on games, they say one thing and then they don't show us anything about said games. A lot of the games from last year's E3 show, we've really heard nothing about. And that's the depressing part. A couple of them have been released, but a lot of them have just been like, it's been kind of quiet since then, man. What's going on? So that's the one thing I think Microsoft, they kind of have done better on. They've gotten more support, but at the same time, we haven't heard anything about that support. So how does it really support? But that's one thing I think they need to do better on. They need to do better on announcing games and then supporting it and letting people know, hey, this thing is coming out. This is why you need to buy an Xbox One. So while that's well and good, that they're focusing a lot more on games this time around, with the Rise of the Tomb Raider deal they have, and, you know, Halo and Forza and everything, I think Microsoft has just become a bit too complacent with more of the same things. You see Sony, you know, branching off and doing a lot more different things. You see Nintendo is, you know, bringing back some old franchises. Microsoft is just really content with Halo, you know, Forza, Gears, and all that stuff. I definitely do think they need to focus a lot more on the indie crowd, which is what they've been trying to do as of late, to make up for the fact that they had such terrible indie indie support in the beginning of the Xbox One cycle. But more than anything, I think what we're going to see from Microsoft is we're going to see more emphasis on integration. And by integration, I'm talking about Windows and Windows 10. It's no shocker to anybody that Microsoft has been trying to unify their entire ecosystem, like Microsoft, not Microsoft, but like Sony and Nintendo have been trying to do, and like Apple already does with the iPad, with the iPod, with the iPhone, and with the Mac operating system. Microsoft's been trying to do that, and I think that they've really succeeded as far as like the phone and tablet space go. I think it's really good. But introducing, like the Xbox into that sort of architecture, I think has kind of had a lot of hit or misses, but I think that's where they're going to focus on, which is what I think their overall approach for the future is going to be. I don't think they're necessarily going to focus a lot on exclusives this time around. They're going to focus more on you playing the game on the Xbox, but you can also be able to play it on the PC through your own hardware or through, cloud gaming, something like that. I think they're going to focus a lot on that sort of thing, as opposed to just, you owning your Xbox for games and you owning your PC for, productivity applications. I think they're going to focus on trying to blend those platforms into one to create one unified experience, which I think is actually pretty cool. Because a person who does PC game, as a person who does go from playing a quick session on Killing Floor to typing up a thesis and all that stuff, I can definitely see why they can find the appeal in that, especially if it's something where you started on one thing and then you continue it on the other. I think it's a pretty interesting approach. However, that is just me speculating, as I am with everything. I think that's probably what they're going to do, considering their focus on DirectX and considering all this stuff. But Microsoft, what I think more than anything, what we need to see from them is we need to see less talk and more show. They talk about the cloud, and they talk about DirectX, and they talk about the cloud and all that stuff. But what have we really seen in game that takes advantage of that? Titanfall? Have a seat. I think they definitely need to, show up and actually produce results, as opposed to just, hey, this is cool and y'all should like it because it's cool. I mean, the Xbox One already has a branding problem. It already has a lot of negative perceptions towards it, from the initial reveal to the the resolution gate scandal. So that's the last thing I think they need overall. But I hope that the conference is good as a whole. I hope that they do come out and make this the year that I do buy an Xbox One, because I do want to play Halo 5. I do want to play the Master Chief Collection whenever it gets patched 100%. And come on, Gears, that's a great co-op series. But hey, we'll see what happens. So I'm NGS signing out from this episode of The Road to E3 2015. Let me know what you guys think about that. And in addition, post your comments down below on what you want me to talk about next. I'm NGS signing out. And like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.